And we're live. Yes, we're live. Hello, everybody, to a new little project. Uh, hello, Elsong, and hello, everyone else that might already be in the chat that we don't know yet. Oh, there we are. Just so happens I was looking at your art right now. Well, thank you. Yeah, so this has been something I've been cooking up for a while now. I actually been planning to do this for over a month now, and last time, what kind of like broke the camel's back was the fact that my PC didn't work properly. And if your PC crashes randomly, it's not the best condition to do a podcast. Yeah, but this is now all hopefully fixed, and this is the first of hopefully many episodes of the Furry Doodle Hour. And without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, a man who needs no introduction by himself because he's been on the live stream for many times now. And he said, if I go, I'm going to go to America and make it big, and then I will never come back. And today he's finally back home. It's my tiger daddy, Supreme Asyr. Say hi.
Hello, Knight. Thank you for having me tonight. That was very interesting.
Oh, see, that's the problem. We don't hear the sound alerts.
That's okay. That's okay. We see which one it was.
So yeah,
also, that is a very nice picture you drew up for the podcast background there. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I made that earlier.
Furry Doodle Hour. That's cute.
I kind of like sort of dug into my whole background of visual design and came up with a logo that looks kind of okay.
Oh, that's right. You studied visual design. Well, graphics designer, I think.
So
did you ask for your money back yet?
No. We're starting. We're having a good start already. Yeah, you can see I kind of put together a little bit of a sort of frame and a little bit of a design to kind of round out the whole picture, because this is going to be a little different from my usual game streams.
Also, it's not going to stay this way all the time, because Knight also promised that he's going to draw something while we talk.
Yes, I was about to get to that. Yes.
So, I'm sorry, you're the host. I'm just
I just to sort of explain what this whole thing is about.
Are we shutting up now?
Yes, thank you.
Ask further questions.
And thank you, Alsong, for the subscription. Holy crap, for 12 months. Wow. Well, thank you.
That's so optimistic.
Yeah, we'll see how many episodes we're actually going to make of this. And don't worry if you have to go or something. I hopefully will remember to upload these episodes on YouTube as well. But yeah, so what this basically
I'll remind you.
Thank you. What this basically is a little different from a regular podcast. You can still listen to it, but it's also gonna be a little feast for the eyes, because I'm gonna try and draw the fursona of my guest each episode, and hopefully do that within the hour, while also interviewing them and asking questions. So we'll see how that goes.
Wait, so does the hour start when you start drawing, or are we already on the clock?
We're already on the clock. We already lost 3 minutes. No, the thing is, like, the hour is just like the general time frame I want to keep in mind. I don't want to have a podcast that goes like 3 to 4 hours or anything. So it's just what I kind of want to keep as a rough estimate for how long this is going to be. But yeah, so without further ado, I guess we're going to start us off, and I'm going to open Photoshop here.
I also hope that we won't have any disconnects like we did last week when we were streaming Brock the Investigator.
Yes. And also, before I forget, so just 2 more things. One, at first I kind of thought about only inviting artists and sort of like talking about furry artists crap and stuff like that, and weird stuff happening in that regard. But I thought, well, there are so many like elitist podcasts that you only get invited to if you have a special skill set or something like that. So instead,
yeah, you're not going to do that because I'm not elitist and I don't have any special skills whatsoever. So instantly proven right.
Yes, exactly. No, no. The reason for me changing my mind on that was I just want to open this up to people I find interesting and people I like to talk to, and I think that everybody in the furry fandom sort of has an interesting story to tell, and I think that we shouldn't limit that just to people who already are in the spotlight, and instead like shine it on people who are just regular furries or associates of furry artists that they now been engaged to for a while or something like that.
Also, Nadia said that my special skill is my belly, and that's already stolen the world's heart, which is very cute. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I agree with that. Yes.
Just for emphasis, some belly slaps for the fans out there.
Very good. So yeah, and also of course, because this is live, you can ask questions yourself, and we'll do our best to answer them. For each given guest. That's a very nice emote there. Thank you.
That's very appropriate. Yep.
All right. So
studio audience moaning at that belly slap. I should do it again, and someone should play the so get ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I think Nalias will cue that up in a yeah. There we go.
There we go.
Eins die Bear. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So let me open up the Photoshop here. Right. Okay. Let me just get all comfortable here and just like assume my artistic position, I guess. And
bonsoir, everyone who's just joined.
All right, that should work. Thing is, like, the setup is a bit weird because Asyr is sitting right next to me, and the microphone is like sort of like levitating over my drawing arm. So I hope I don't do this or something.
Whoa, you just did.
I just wanted to demonstrate.
Okay.
So it's just something I have to get used to a little bit.
If you just noticed that Knight was hitting the microphone just to make a point here, if you didn't hear it at all, then good.
That's I hope it wasn't too loud. But yeah, so I guess let's do it like James DeFranco, and let's just jump into it. So the first question, Asyr, and we talked about that, but I don't think the wide audience knows. How did you first hear about the furry fandom? What was your first contact with the community?
My first contact with the furry community was actually in the game, in the MMO Star Wars Galaxies, which came out back in 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a while ago. And the second character I created there was Bothan, as people probably only know from the famous Star Wars quote, many Bothans suffered, to give us this information.
I'm going to pull up a Bothan meme for that.
Oh god, I'm going to do that.
Many Bothans died.
Many Bothans died to bring in this meme, exactly, right. And, well, they're cute little dog-like creatures, at least in Star Wars Galaxies. They look like cute little anthropomorphic dog-like creatures. And I was playing as one. Aww. And I didn't have... Oh, yeah, there's some images of Boffins. I was playing as one. I didn't have many contacts in the game. It has only been out for a few months back then at that time.
Ooh.
Oh, that is actually from Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah.
That's like, why aren't they playable yet? Why is that only an NPC?
That looks like Obi-Wan as a Bothan.
Actually, Obi-Wan would have made a very cute Bothan now that I'm seeing that picture. But yes, that's what there is what Bothans look like in Star Wars Galaxies.
Wow.
And yeah, I was playing this. I was playing on a German role-playing server, which was unofficial because they didn't have any official designations back then.
Oh, right.
But it was one that the German role-playing community picked. And I was playing on that and was actually chatting up another player who was also playing a Bothan. And after talking to him for a while, he asked me, "So are you a furry too?" And I was like, "No, what's a furry?" And then he explained it to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, anthropomorphic characters, in love with those. Really into that. I'm sure I can get on board with that. I felt that way, and that was the first time I ever made contact with it. Ever since then, I've considered myself a furry. So you could say it started in 2003. So, thanks to Star Wars.
Thanks to Star Wars. That's nice.
Thanks to Star Wars, well, also where my name is from. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that later. And also something that I want to kind of point out is that for those of you who don't know Star Wars Galaxies, like that was before, as you mentioned, before World of Warcraft came out.
Exactly, it came out 2 years before World of Warcraft.
And what that means, I think a lot of people, that like have not experienced that. I mean, I never played it because I wasn't just big in MMOs. Also, I didn't have a good internet connection back then.
Well, neither did I, but it still was good enough for the MMO.
But what was different before World of Warcraft came out was the fact that player interaction was wildly different in MMOs. Like, it was not uncommon at all to just don't know what the game is about, and to like ask experienced players. Like, I know in the Dark Age of Camelot, that was a very common thing to do. I know from friends who told me that you just like, you would go up to an experienced player and go like, hey, can you explain to me how the class system works, or how the skill system works? And people would just be very patient and actually tell you and explain to you and be nice to you.
People were more helpful back then. Yeah, that's true.
And the fact is like that the game sometimes just didn't explain things very well, and you just like would have like easier time talking up other players, and
exactly. And Star Wars Galaxies had a lot of that.
And also like there's a lot of player interaction because like in some fashion they were also like very elaborate chat rooms to a degree, like in terms of like
if you like the boy, it was kind of like Second Life, way before Second Life came out.
So in the sense of like you had, let's say, you had way more options. Yeah, you had more options role playing. So you could go to the bar and actually like have a drink, and there was a player band.
You had player bands and player cities, for crying out loud.
Yeah, player cities.
You could build your own house there and decorate it with many different possibilities.
Yeah, and I mean like. Housing was also introduced in World of Warcraft, but it's like you have a plot of land, and then one of these houses
was way later. I mean,
no, but I mean, like,
World of Warcraft didn't have any housing mechanic till I think it was, what was the add-on with
Nadia's probably knows
the add-on where they did the whole time travel thing with Garrosh. Legion. No, wait, Legion was after that.
It still doesn't have housing.
No, but you have kind of like your own base, or can have your own garrisons. Warlords of Draenor, that's the expansion I was looking for. You have your own garrisons, which is not really comparable to the housing options you had in Star Wars Galaxies.
In terms of like how the feature worked in like modern MMOs, it's like you just like have an instance of a house where you can go in, but it's like it looks all the same. Pretty like much, every player house looks the same.
Pretty much, yeah.
And in Star Wars, you could actually you could just put your house somewhere on Tatooine, which is kind of ridiculous.
In Star Wars, you had 9 different housing styles for houses. Well, I mean, you had small houses, medium houses, and large houses, and all came in 3 different styles, plus many furniture options. So that was really cool from a role-playing point of view.
And so I just wanted to give this a frame of reference that it was more easy to sort of like form friendships in multiplayer games. I think like these are still being done today, but I don't think someone who, I don't know, like plays Fortnite would chat someone random up and go like, hey, are you a furry too? Purely from like the character they picked. I don't think that's something that is likely to happen in
exactly.
Games.
But ever since then, I've known what a furry is, and for a few years, I just kind of drifted along without doing much about it. That was until 2008.
All right.
When I was in college. Actually, second time I was in college, because I dropped out the first time. And I actually discovered some furry webcomics. Well, actually, the one furry webcomic that brought me back into the whole thing was Asyr by Vince Suzukawa.
I think we should follow this up. Furry comic ISO. There we are.
There we go.
Still up.
Yeah, it's still the old one. You can see last time it was updated 2011. So
yeah.
But yes, I actually don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but I was really smitten by it and got into it and followed the author's creators, the creator's life journal where he posted the new pages every week.
Yeah.
And I also I think that was the first time I actually tried to look up if there are any furries in Germany as well.
Yeah.
And stumbled upon the forum Furbase and registered there.
The infamous German furry forum.
I don't know if it's that infamous, but
I can see how
people outside the German fandom probably never heard of it.
Yeah, but I can see where you got some inspiration there, like right on the first page.
Well, I'm sorry, it hooked me in instantly.
That's really cool,
and you can't blame me for that. But yes, on Furbase, I was actually contacted by another furry who was living in the same city where I was going to college. And he was kind of like, hey, I see you live in Kiel too. I dropped the city right there.
That's okay.
Do you want to come to our, in German, we say Stammtisch, which is just a regular meetup.
Do we have an English word for that?
That is a good question. What would be
a Cracker Barrel?
A Cracker Barrel? Seriously?
Okay. All right.
Regulus table.
A Regulus table. Yeah. I never heard that term Cracker Barrel before.
Me neither. If it's even a correct translation for that. But anyway, it was kind of like a regular meetup for local furs, and I attended, and through that, I actually got really into the fandom, and I also discovered Fur Affinity that year. As you can see on my profile, I registered in 2008.
Yeah, I think we can.
Cracker Barrel is a restaurant in the US.
Yeah, I know that. It's a chain. 13th August 2008.
August 13th, exactly, yes. And I hope it wasn't a Friday. Then again, it has brought me luck so far. But yeah, that's how I really got into the...
You ended up with me, so I'm not sure how lucky you were.
Oh, I was very lucky, honey. I was very lucky. And that's how I practically got into the furry fandom. And from there on, it just expanded over the time.
Same as a specific furry dad's belly.
Yeah, same as a certain body part. I was a lot thinner back then.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures, but I think like you look very healthy and very good. So
thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so if you want to kind of like, I've been in the fandom for 19 years, but officially it's more like 14 years.
And that sort of ties into the next question that I was going to ask.
At least I can call myself a gray muzzle.
Yeah, absolutely. Although we realize that apparently gray muzzle is a term that's being thrown around for everyone who's over 30, which is kind of bullshit. Because I feel like you need to actually have or like be in the age group that grows gray hair to be called a gray muzzle.
I only have a few gray hairs yet.
Yeah,
barely noticeable. So.
Oh, you do? I didn't notice that.
Well, I haven't noticed them either. My mother did.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, but like tying right into what you just said.
Yeah.
I have a question. Was there a defining moment for you that made you want to be a part of the furry community? And if so, what was it? Like, was there a moment where you went like, okay, this sounds interesting. I want to be a part of it, or was there a moment where like, okay, now I really want to be a part of it?
Oh, that is a very tough question. I don't know if I can really answer that. For me, it was more like a gradual process. Actually, it was like, oh, yeah, that's nice and that's cool, and oh my god, there's porn of that, and why am I attracted to that?
But was there a moment where you're like, okay, that's weird, these people are weird, but I can't look away, and then eventually like that sort of changed? Or was there a moment where you like always kind of open to the whole idea and you never thought it was that strange given from what you saw before?
It's more like you're watching the movie Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman,
Oh,
and
right.
you're like, why is this werewolf kind of turning me on?
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go.
And now that I looked at some stuff online, why are there those anthropomorphic wolves with their sheaths and balls hanging out? And why is this arousing?
Yeah, okay, all right. So why am I attracted to that? Yeah,
Exactly.
okay. That's a very like furry-esque experience, I think, and I felt the same way when I first got into the fandom, although it was like before I actually knew what a furry was for me. So like the furry fandom didn't make me gay; it just made me a pervert. No,
Well, for me,
okay.
discovering that I'm gay and discovering that I'm a furry also sort of overlap.
Whole thing is like for me, I already knew I was gay when I became a furry. So
And I also might want to add that I think kind of defining for me was also that first in Star Wars Galaxies and then later in World of Warcraft, I realized that the playable species that are furries are actually much more attracting to me than any human looking species.
yeah,
It's
okay.
like human, boring, elf, dwarf, no thank you, gnome, undead, no, tauren, yes, tauren, yes, orc, yes, troll, maybe.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
And the Star Wars Galaxy was like, Boffin? Oh, yes, those look cute. I want to play one. And maybe a Wookiee.
True, yeah. Very wow characters are, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Very wow characters are S+++. That's right, Nalius.
Yeah, Nalius kind of broke my heart when I was like, okay, maybe we can live stream World of Warcraft at some point. I would love to play, the Volpera. And then it was like, yeah, you kind of have to like unlock them first, and like if you just jump in you can't play them. I was like, no.
Well, at least you can still play Worgen. So.
Yeah, that's true. Also, yeah, I would probably, if we live stream it, I would probably play Worgen because the starting area is the most interesting to show off.
Definitely.
All right, well that's cool, because like for me it wasn't really a defining moment per se, but it was more like I found out that the community existed. I was like, well, finally, I'm home. It was really like that. It was my genuine reaction because I just I knew I was into anthropomorphic characters before I knew what a furry was, and I was also gay. And eventually, I figured, I'm probably the only kid that thinks that way because I was used to being like the weird kid that right was kind of a loner and stuff like that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I'm all right. I made my peace with it, but it was like reasonable for me to think that I was the only person in the entire world to feel that way. And then when I realized, okay, there's a whole community behind that, I was like, wow, okay, there are people like me. I'm not alone. I finally found my place to be.
That is actually very helpful. Yes, yeah, indeed.
And so that was like what it was for me. Classic Bliss introduced fun wallet from
also helped me coming to terms with being gay. So oh my god, there's this whole community where you can be gay and no one's bothered by it, and there are even more gay people who share the same interest. That's so awesome.
Yeah, like it's been doing wonders for me just to have like being gay is normalized in the furry community, where it's not, you don't have like this whole heteronormative stereotype like just stuff shoved in your face all the time. Like you have that in TV and movies and series and stuff like that, where it's always the man and the woman, and if it's the man and the man, it's always something unusual. It's always something special.
Yep.
And they need to put extra attention on it, that how special it is and how inclusive we are. And
exactly.
Whatnot. And like even like series that I really liked, even like Friends wasn't immune to that, where you have like, oh, the lesbian couple who is raising a kid, and
though to be fair, actually Friends was very progressive when it came to the lesbians.
Yeah, no, it's true, but still, like it was they would put extra attention to it. It wasn't just like, hey, these are the characters, and we treat them like everybody else. So, but yeah. Be furry at start is like mostly search question content of famous furry characters. Yeah, it's true, absolutely.
Exactly. Type in Bugs Bunny naked. Other people would type in humans naked.
After that, it's just come on Twitter, hit me with your best furry post. Yeah.
Yeah,
much.
but Twitter wasn't a thing back then.
Yes, me neither. Okay, so now that we've seen the first page of ISO, I can ask you. Wait, what is it?
Well, you're trying to achieve that.
The website doesn't. Oh, okay, so
there we
it doesn't
go.
really work there. But I now have a question that is kind of obvious now, but you didn't start off as a tiger, so I wanted to ask you, how did you choose your fursona, and what inspirations did you draw from?
That is a good question. Back in 2003, when my friend who introduced me to the furry community actually asked me like that, I was more like, what would my persona be? I think wolves are pretty cool, so I would probably be a wolf, but never had a depiction of him. To be fair, I wasn't even on FA then, so I didn't even know about commissions and how you get your character drawn like that. So
that's understandable. My hard drive has to wake up so I can save the file.
Good morning, hard drive. But yes, I actually started out as a wolf. And then later on, in 2008, when it came to, picking an identity for those furry websites, and I was kind of like, what do you go with? Well, of course, I would go with the name Asyr because I've been using that for the past 5 years by that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you a wolf? Feels like there are so many wolves. Actually, tigers are a lot. No offense to any wolf people out there.
No, of course not.
Wolves are awesome, but back then I was thinking tigers are actually kind of a lot cooler. Tigers are beautiful. See, Wushel, that's what I was afraid of. Don't be sad. Wolves are awesome, but I was more attracted to tigers by that point, and I still am. So I was like, maybe you should pick a tiger persona, and well, the rest is kind of history. And I think it was in 2000. Was it in 2008 or was it in 2009? I actually commissioned an artist, Asterian Blazing, to draw the very first depiction of my persona.
I think we can wait. I think we can actually.
Well, actually, no. Wait. Let me start over. Asterian wasn't the first. I think it was the first picture I ever uploaded. But when it came to creating, click on the first picture. There, I want to see.
That's Asterian Blazing, yes.
Oh, right. Actually, Asterian Blazing did do the first picture, but back then he was just another tiger with, I was like, oh, sure, give him. She was like, should I give him white hair or black hair or what kind of color? And I was like, can I take a look? And she sent me a picture with black hair. And I was like, that looks kind of weird. I actually still have it saved on my hard drive somewhere.
I think is it in scraps?
Is it in scraps?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, right. There it is in scraps.
Yeah.
Well, he looks a lot younger with black hair. It's
like true.
It's like a youth pick of Asyr.
I like the chin beard is now like completely by coincidence has become a staple of night instead.
Kinda, right?
It's like, kind of cool.
But yeah, that's how Asyr started out. It was like, white hair actually looks better. He looks a bit older and wiser, and I like that. And that's how it started out because, well, he was a lot buffer back then.
2009. Wow.
2009, there you go. And the design that...
Oh, wait, there's another version.
What? Oh, it's just the black hair on top, but the...
secret version.
Cheek ruffs and all that are still white.
That's a rare Asyr for everyone.
That is a rare Asyr, exactly.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's how it started out. And then in 2010, I went to Los Angeles during the summer to visit Vince Suzukawa because I've been chatting with him a lot online during the previous 2 years.
You were a lot braver than I when I started out. Like I would have never messaged or like sent a message to an artist who drew my favorite furry comic. Like I would have been way too shy for that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I also had a big crush on him back then.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute.
And I got to visit him in LA, and I think it was the convention Califer that was going on while I was there, and we actually want to go there. And he offered to design a badge for me, which is also in my gallery.
Oh wait, I have to go back. There we are.
And as you can see, it's still more the generic tiger with white hair stuff. But
the glasses
were still there. Yes, of course. I always wanted to go with the glasses because I have glasses in real life. I wanted him to have glasses too. And I also asked him, how about, could you design a reference sheet for me, for like if I want to get more pictures in the future? And so he did that, and he was asking me like, do you want any special features on him? And I was like, oof, what could I do that would make him stand out from other tigers besides the glasses, of course? And I don't know if I was thinking of The Sims or whatever. I was kind of like, hey, could you like put a diamond shaped marking on his forehead?
Why The Sims out of all things?
I don't know. It was a random thought.
Okay.
I don't even know if the Sims really were in my head back then at that point. But for some reason, I was thinking, like, could we just put a diamond shaped marking on his forehead? And then later on, hey, wouldn't it be fun to also put that diamond shape on his hands and on his foot paws? And he did that. And I was like, hey, that's it. That looks good. That's a distinct feature that no other tigers in the furry fandom have.
Yeah.
And it's still subtle enough that it's not like screaming at your face.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, that's it. That's the look I want to go with. Asyr was born.
Asyr just like the music of The Sims. That's a very nice. I'm not going to play the music from Sims.
Which part? The first Sims, the second Sims, the third Sims?
The music station with the name Children.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So that's really cool. I think that the diamond definitely is a really cool detail because I'm a sucker for like character details.
Exactly. And if you see any other daddy tigers out there, you just have to check their forehead or paws if they are Asyr or not.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, the fact that you were able to go to LA is pretty cool, and then just attend your first furry convention like so shortly after you registering on FA. And
that was actually the first time I've ever been flying by myself. Before that, I've always done air travel with other people.
Yeah. Was that scary going to the US for the first time?
It was a bit weird.
I mean, you've been to the US at that point.
I've been to the US before, but only as part of a student exchange with my parents. It was kind of weird. I was a bit nervous, but then again, it wasn't the first time I traveled on an airplane, so
I think I should
that mitigated it a bit.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, you should hydrate and stretch.
I think I would have been terrified out of my life. Yeah.
I mean, I've made it through immigration without any problems, so.
Now, we got to talk about this hourly regimen. That's getting to me. But yeah, so that is actually really cool that you like made so many experiences. I remember when I was 16, I visited furry friends like across Germany, and whenever I told somebody that wasn't part of the furry fan, I was like, I'm gonna visit a friend I know from online in another city, and they were like, oh, God, how can you do that? Like, don't you know what weird people are out there? And like, so they were always so concerned about, what strange people I might meet.
And again, there are also weird people living in your own city.
Yeah, I know. It's just, if I had done that, if I had like gone to a different continent, I don't know how people would have freaked then.
To a different country, even. It still could be on the same continent. Next for the win is asking, do you ever have another fursona apart the tiger or on multiple personas, situational personas? I do not. Asyr is my one and only fursona. I do have other characters, yes, but I don't consider them my personas.
Yeah, same here.
They're just characters that I use for fun every now and then, like my gorilla husband Zach.
Yeah.
Or Duncan the unicorn, which we only came up with last year.
Yeah, it's true. Because everyone was getting their own a horse character. I think it was like, I want one too.
Yeah, it's like you had your horse character, Officer Monroe. Sirius had his horse character, Gladius, and I was like, hey, now I want a horse too. And I'm actually the unicorn because you guys already have horses. Unicorns are special.
Yeah.
They have two horns, one on their head and one between their legs.
And because I drew both horns, I can't show it on stream. So, yeah.
Swally Swiggle says, love your gorilla husband, Zed. Thank you very much. Knight actually helped me create him.
Well, I didn't do much. I mean,
You've drawn him for the first time.
yeah, but
also, you're the only one so far who's drawn him.
It's true. We don't get much fan art, so but that's just because we're not popular.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
hint, hint.
Only popular first get fan art.
Yeah, that's true. We're not popular enough, I guess.
Yeah, drawing is coming along nicely. I agree. I gotta change a few things around though. He looks a bit not quite the way I want right now, but that's okay. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
So he looks a bit younger, I think. But that's okay.
Well, just put some glasses on him. He'll look a little older.
You're getting a little tongue-tied there. But you have to talk a lot, so yeah.
I'm not used to talking so much on your streams. Usually just hogging all the attention.
Yeah. That's a good thing about being the interviewer. I just have to ask the question and interject every now and then.
Exactly.
So, okay, well, we're almost done with. Well, we're pretty much done with that question. So I guess we can move on to the next one. And yeah, the next one is like tying up nicely into the earlier one. It's like, how did being a furry change your life? Like, what impact did it have on your life?
I'd say it had a huge impact on me. It was like, I wouldn't define myself solely on being a furry because I'm also other stuff. But the furry fandom really helped me come to terms with my sexual orientation. It also brought me in contact with a lot of kinks. I never knew how perverted I was before I came into the furry fandom. And nowadays, I'm like, wow. I would have a tough time living in countries where that is not accepted. But yes, I think the furry fandom actually helped me a lot coming to terms with who I am, helping me actually define who I am. And to be fair, it also feels nice having so many nice people to talk to.
Yeah.
The furry fandom is pretty much the only reason I know people from other countries.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I had made some contacts through video games with people from other countries. One of the first experiences I had when I got my modem and I was playing multiplayer games, I actually met someone from Australia and talked to them for a bit, but that kind of petered out over time, and furry contacts have sort of stayed steady.
I had a similar experience like you, actually. I think the first person I ever really talked to. I mean, of course, I played online shooters, but you just shoot people. You don't talk to them. That's not what the chat in Return to Castle Wolfenstein is for. But before Star Wars Galaxies, I think the first ever MMO I played was Anarchy Online in 2001. And I actually got into a quest group with a guy from Scotland back then.
That's cool.
And he was cool and he was nice. And we chatted a few times and played a few times. Unfortunately, I got a case of the flu. I was down for a week and I didn't play in that time. And when I came back online, he never found him again.
Yeah, that's was the time before Discord servers and like centralized communities where you could just like find each other.
Exactly. Although I think we actually could have chatted through ICQ if we ever exchanged the contact information. Yeah, that's true. I think ICQ or AIM was already around.
But you kind of like have to just like put yourself in the position that's like someone is on the server you're playing on and they have a username and that's the only thing you have.
That's the only thing you know about them, exactly.
And like they don't have a Steam profile because Steam doesn't exist.
I didn't have Steam back then.
They don't have a what year was it?
2001.
Yeah, so
Steam didn't exist in 2001. All right, fair enough.
You didn't have Facebook. You didn't have Twitter. You didn't have
Telegram
Telegram
or WhatsApp.
Yeah, ICQ maybe. Or
ICQ was. I think ICQ already existed in 2001, and if it didn't, AIM did.
Yeah, but you have to be lucky enough that they exchange like their contact info on there.
Exactly.
Otherwise, the reason of the chance of finding them again is just like zero.
Exactly. So we never talked again. I don't know if that Scottish guy is also very listening nowadays because that would be awesome.
That would be amazing, but I doubt it. Yeah.
But yeah, that was actually the first person I ever chatted with internationally.
Yeah, and I know this is gonna make me sound really bad, but what the furry fandom like sort of taught me was like just how creative people from other countries are, and okay, just like real talk. And I'm gonna apologize. I'm apologizing for what I'm gonna say, but when I saw a bunch of artists, in the furry fan, I was like, wow, people from Russia can actually draw well. I that just thought stuck in my head. I have no idea why, because there's no logical reason to think that. But it's just like, oh wow, that person from this country, I didn't know people from that country could draw that well.
Exactly.
It's just like it taught me that there are a lot of talented people out there, and
So
yeah,
many great artists from Russia, from Brazil, from the States, from Japan, from Vietnam.
yeah.
Pick a country. It's awesome, really. The fur community is just awesome.
Yeah, pretty much. And especially, given what online interaction has become, I think that furries are kind of some of the most normal groups you can interact with these days. Because
I'm gonna hydrate in your stead this
yeah,
time because
thank you. Now, yes, I'm busy. I'm kidding. But
it
like,
wasn't Nalias this time.
it wasn't. Okay. um, but yeah, so there are like a lot of furries out there that like you can always find a topic to chat about that you either might not expect them to be into, same as you, like movies and video games and stuff like that. But also you have like furry specific topics that don't have anything to do with politics or with like what's going on on like the Twitterverse or stuff like that. So you can always find something to talk about and have a good conversation with someone in the furry fandom, like no matter who it is, I think. And that's something that's really cool.
There you go, next FTW. You learned something new. There are more than just American or Japanese furry artists.
Yeah, I found out actually that there are a lot of people from South America that are following me, and that is something that I did not expect, and I really, really appreciate.
It's amazing. I'm not to disrespect any other South American countries, but just amazing how many good and even gay furry artists are from Brazil.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and Mexico as well.
I mean, Mexico as well. I mean, Furrybot would be the most prominent Brazilian furry artist that comes to mind right now,
Yeah.
but there are many more.
That's true. Yeah, it's just like you don't really think of Brazil as the first country when you think like gay furry artists. In terms of like you think like maybe people are more hesitant to share that sort of stuff, or maybe there are other things factoring in.
And yet at the same time, Brazil introduced gay marriage way before Germany.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool though. Yeah, but yeah, all the more power to all the furry artists out there and people from all places all over the world. I really, really appreciate so many cool people who just share their stuff, and it's just great to see that people don't need to have like a reason to draw characters, and like in other fandoms where it's like, okay, a new Marvel movie comes out and people are obsessed over the look of, I don't know, the new Spider-Man costume, and they draw fan art based on that. No, furries always find like different species and characters, and just come up with stuff on their own.
Furries would draw a literal Spider-Man.
Yeah. Everyone seems to forget about the amazing Canadian artists too, like Valhod. Well, the thing is, like, there are so many countries and so many artists. It's easy to forget them. But
those were just examples. Of course, there are so many so many countries where cool artists are from.
And Valhound. I'm not sure how you properly pronounce.
According to the watermark on the picture, is Valhound now.
Valhound, okay.
Even though the FA name is Valhund.
I just love their art so much. Like they're putting out so much good art. It's insane, and I think rightfully so. They're one of the most, I think, like most successful artists on FA as far as the numbers go. I think they have like the most favorites or something.
Exactly. And it's not just artists. You get to know a lot of cool people in the furry community who are just, not even content creators, just people who get a lot of commissions or who just watch you and comment a lot on your pictures and stuff. It might um for me, it was like I interacted with the ISO community, not just with Vince, but also with some other people who were on LiveJournal back then. Also, show of hands who still remembers LiveJournal.
I never was part of a LiveJournal community, but I knew this site. Yeah.
And that's how I also got to know a few people, mostly from the States back then, which is interesting. Heck, it's also the first time where I saw the name of my second boyfriend before I later got to talk to him through other channels. So
yeah,
Swedish Ballhund.
Yes, I have seen a Swedish Ballhund. It's legitimately a wild corgi, basically.
Those look cute.
Yeah, they're insanely adorable. I love them. I love them so much. Buy or adopt. I love that it gives me the option to just immediately find a place where I can.
Let's not do anything hasty now.
But look, he's so cute. Look at the stubby little feet.
The one with the curl tail was also cute.
Ah. Okay. Not okay.
Back to the issue at hand. But yes, back then, from 2008 to let's just say 2014-15. I actually felt like most of my contacts were from the States. It was like, yeah, don't.
Sorry, don't just enlarge the pecs. Okay. Sorry.
Back then, most of my furry contacts were actually from the States. I had a lot of people from America I talked to back then. Ever since I started talking to you, it shifted back more to Europe.
Really, it's interesting. Yeah, I also had like a lot of friends that I mostly knew from the States and countries like that, and not many German furries, because like whenever I had like interactions with German furries, except for people like Wuschel and Luna and close friends like
Sirius.
That. Sirius, of course, yeah. Although Sirius came later, I only got to know Sirius through Wuschel and Luna. But yeah, of course, Sirius.
Well, I only got to know Sirius, Wuschel, and Luna through you.
Yeah, so. That's true.
For me, it's definitely true.
But
also, neat place.
the German furries that like I interacted with through the German furry forum, I just didn't really click well, because I felt like could be a bit elitist, I want to say, like in terms of like forming cliques, and you really need to be part of their group to sort of be considered worthy, I guess.
Well, that's why it also didn't really work out with people I knew from my college city back then. Because let's face it, the interest just didn't overlap
that's true.
well enough. And I kind of had a feeling that weren't kinky enough for my taste. It was like kind of boring, actually.
Yeah,
and so many bisexuals. No offense to any bisexuals.
There's so many bisexuals, but the not very kinky part I can definitely attest to, in the sense of like I saw, especially on Furbase, people who would constantly like make fun of kinks, like hyper is just so unrealistic.
It's not just even hyper, it's also muscle art. It's just like, I don't like those huge muscles, those big muscles, those are disgusting. They're all for those skinny femboyish anthros. I want my muscle hunks. And back then, only the American furs somehow were more into muscle hunks than the German furs. I was like, ugh.
Enlarge the knee, please.
Enlarge the knee, please, yes.
But yeah, it really, it kind of hurt me in the long run, in terms of what I was like willing to draw and how I was willing to draw things, because I always like thought back to how they constantly made fun of people who were into that, or artists who were drawing that, and it's just like it really dug itself deep into my mind, where I was like I felt I had to justify myself to not only these people but to myself, which is of course ridiculous, but I was like very impressionable and shy back in the day. And so it just like led to me really, not finding my full potential when it comes to drawing, and not really being, like loud and proud about what I like. Because, if you get like so many negative messages about that, sometimes you just feel like, not bothering to tell anyone about what you enjoy. So yeah.
Oh, they're just talking about Ohio. Don't pay any attention to them. But yes, that's pretty much it. It's like I've always felt more drawn to the furry community in the States because I felt like there are more people there who share the same kinks that I have. That was until I met you, at least. And
boy, do we share a lot of kinks. That was good.
But yeah, that's how it went back then.
All right, let me just.
Now I actually discovered there are also quite a few European furs who can be kinky if they want to.
And I think like a lot of people sort of can turn up their nose at like, well, I don't like people who are or furries who are so sexual and who like only identify through their kinks and stuff like that. But what I think a lot of people sort of
those people are like, please keep the sex out of the fandom. No, we don't want it. It's a big part of it. Get used to it.
And the thing is, like,
turn on SFW mode if you're so bothered.
Yeah. I mean, the thing what I always find interesting is that people often like put it in a way where they feel that it's bad for the community or it's a bad aspect of the community. But if you really think about what it means to talk about sex and kinks and stuff like that in the furry context, it's actually very, very healthy to sort of like find a lot of kinks through the furry community, because like I've been on Tumblr when they still allowed porn, and I stumbled upon some real life stuff that I wish I could forget because I didn't ask to see that. And when you see like a furry picture you're like ew, that's not my cup of tea, and then you move on. But it's still just a drawing after all.
By the way, people will be so disappointed that you cut off right above the belly.
I know, but you see, there I can show a little bit. You're right. I shouldn't cut off the bladder.
Give the people what they want.
Give you what you want.
Yes, incidentally, what I want overlaps with what the people want. So.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes, I have one more question that also follows up with the last one, and the question is, how has being a furry changed for you compared to when you first started being active in the community? Like, how does it? What does it mean to you now, as opposed to what it was for you when you started out?
I don't think that has changed so much. Back then, it was a way to get sexual gratification, and today it still is. So, but other than that, I've met a lot of cool people through the furry fandom. I've met my fiance through the furry fandom, which is awesome.
Really? Who is that?
Some asshole. That is. Don't worry, people. That is an inside joke.
Yes.
But other than that, well. Of course, what also changed is that in the beginning, people didn't call me daddy. Now they do, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
So that is a nice perk.
But like,
I love having several sons in the furry family.
You do have that, yeah. I just wonder if there's like something where you feel, you back then you would go about doing things differently. You would like. I don't know, like visit different sites or visit sites differently, and now that has changed because of how how the whole landscape of like online interaction has changed.
Maybe I would have started my Twitter account a bit earlier than that,
right.
And maybe I would have go to Twitter right from the beginning with the intent to be a curator for big hunky men.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think
I only found that role for me on Twitter after a while. So.
Yeah, and also when I mentioned.
But now I really enjoy it.
Yeah, if you don't already do so, and if you like the same things we like, then I would highly suggest following Asyr on Twitter.
I hit 5,000 followers this week, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I think your Twitter name is actually underneath your little icon in the top bottom left corner.
I hope so.
I think I put that there. So yeah, that is definitely a good place to go, as opposed to like random Twitter accounts that just like steal artists' work and repost them for themselves and don't really give credit, as you're always retweets. And
I'm just retweeting, so you always see who the original artist is.
That's true.
Next wants to know if I ever had a rave or emo phase, and I can say no, I did not, and I despise both of those.
You despise. Wow. Thank you, Nalius, for posting the.
Thanks, Nalius.
You really despise?
Nah, but it's not for me. I mean, people who want to go to raves, feel free to. I don't care. It's just nothing I enjoy or would like to go to. An emo, oh please.
I think, when people ask that, it's because they themselves like that stuff. So just keep in mind for the future that.
Sorry to disappoint you there.
Yeah, but it's okay to disappoint people if you don't like it, but just maybe don't insult them.
Shut up.
Okay. Okay, Daddy. I'll be shutting up, and I will do the drawing as that's my only role on this stream.
Exactly.
I'm just the art slave.
I mean, what I could go what I could tell about is how I got my name.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Because I mentioned that earlier, that I started out using that name for my character in Star Wars Galaxies, but some people might know that back in the 90s, there existed a series of Star Wars books that followed the adventures of the Rogue Squadron, which was like Luke's squadron in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Even though they had some independent adventures without Luke, I think. And there was this one character who was actually a Bothan, whose name was Asyr Salar. And I'm not ashamed to say that that character originally was female, but I don't care about that. And back in the year 2000, I was participating in a Star Wars role-playing game that was played in an online forum. Because back then we had forum RPGs or email RPGs even.
Geez.
It's like we were writing emails to each other where we played out little scenes and set them up for the next person to continue.
I never did participate in that, but I know that these existed.
Those existed. I was a part of it. The name of the role-playing game was Arcade Pride. Not that it matters much now. It was actually about a little pirate crew. Which was awesome. And when I joined up, I was playing a human character. His name was Vic Jensen, and the name Jensen is also the name of one of the Rogue Squadron pilots.
I see.
You actually hear the name said out loud in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, right.
During the Battle of Hoth. Wedge says, "Good shot, Jensen."
Yeah.
And that was his name back then. Was a boring human. I know. I'm ashamed of that too. But we also had female players in the role-playing game, and one of them actually had a Wookiee character and also a second character who's a Bothan and whose name was Asyr. And it was actually directly modeled after the Rogue Squadron character. And I thought, okay, that is actually a very cool name. And when it came to me creating my Bothan character on Star Wars Galaxies, I was like, what name shall I give him?
Yeah.
And I was like, Asyr actually sounds like a really cool name for Bothans, and to be fair, it also sounds unisex, so works for a male character as well. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna name my Bothan Asyr. And that's how it all started. From then on, Asyr was my main character. When I switched to World of Warcraft later, well, actually, I was playing World of Warcraft and Star Wars Galaxy simultaneously, but never mind. When it came to World of Warcraft, I created my first character as a Tauren, and I was like, actually, I like that name by now so much that I'm going to name my Tauren Asyr as well. It was a Tauren shaman. And from then on, I used Asyr for a lot of online presences in forums, in chats. The name stuck with me. So, of course, when I registered on Fur Affinity back in 2008, it was already a given that I would register the name Asyr, which luckily for me wasn't taken yet.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's a great name. It's really short, it's memorable, and it's definitely unique. And I like it.
Of course, English-speaking people had a few issues with how they should pronounce it correctly. They're like, is it Asyr? Is it Asyr? What should I? It was like, it's Asyr. So you can say Asyr if you like. I don't like it so much, but
Yeah.
If you don't know any better, sure. But yeah, it's Asyr.
Well, thank you, Elson, for the gift sub. Wow. Yeah, that's how that got started, and it's a really interesting story. I knew you told me about the whole based off a character from the book kind of thing, but I didn't know about the forum role play game.
That's how I first heard that name, and then I appropriated for my own use.
That's fine. That's like good artists. Wait, what was it? What was the this saying? Good artists
Imitation
imitate.
is the highest
No, no,
form
no.
of.
Like a
No?
great artist steal.
Oh yeah, great artists steal from each other. Good
But
artists copy, great artists steal. I don't know.
bad artists copy great artists.
Bad
Good
artists copy, great artists steal. There you go. That's how good. Next also wants to know if Knight is a Star Wars fan or a Star Trek fan. And I'm going to answer that for you right now. We're both Star Wars fans, and I also used to be a Trekkie.
Used to be. Okay. Well, Trekkie meaning you dress up in costumes and go to conventions?
No. No, it just meant that I liked Star Trek a lot and watched quite a few shows. But then again, I only really watched Next Generation and Voyager. I didn't really watch Deep Space Nine. So, and I've been out. I've never watched any of the newer series like Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, or what else they have there.
All right. Well, yeah, Star Wars was always like my go-to sci-fi franchise, and funnily enough, also like the first franchise I got to know through a video game first before I even saw the movies. But yeah, Star Trek I took a while to actually get into when I outgrew the phase of not liking it purely because it was Star Wars. This whole like Trekkie versus Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I never got that since I like both Star Wars and Star Trek. That never was an issue for me. And again, I also like Coke and Pepsi, so I never got into that either.
But you don't like pineapple on pizza, so
Actually, I don't like pineapple. It hasn't anything to do with pizza. I respect people who put pineapple on pizza. And yes, I know that DS9 is supposed to be great, and I watched a few episodes of that, but I just never really found into that.
That's okay. I think it's fine.
Also, I ignored Wuschel's pun with Asyr.
No, I didn't even see. Oh, there it is.
That's where we should go on vacation.
Yeah, of course we should. Yeah, all right. Well, that's really
and now
cool.
People know how I came to be a furry and how I got my name.
You want to also tell the story again of how we met formally?
Well, as opposed to real life, when friends ask us or a family asks us how Knight and I met, we usually just say, oh, we met online and started chatting and really,
I think we told that
had
before.
A spark going there. But the real reason is that back in 2015, I had been following Knight on FA for a few years, but sometimes I left comments as well. But back in 2015, when he uploaded a few pictures, I actually noticed that quite a few times it looked like he drew his character with a foreskin. And a few times, and no, Elsong, don't get into the whole foreskin thing right now. Please hold back. Sometimes it looked like he drew Knight with a foreskin. Sometimes it looked like he drew Knight circumcised. And I just sent him a note on FA asking him, so, hey, is your character uncircumcised or not? What's up with that? And interesting enough, from that, I want to say innocent little question, but it wasn't innocent. From then on, it kind of snowballed into more talking through notes, then chatting, and we really hit it off, didn't we?
We really hit it off, yeah. Because I think the King thing was a big thing because like we clicked very well. I mean, he already knew my art, so that kind of like skipped the awkward wait, you draw kind of phase.
It does. And also my name didn't come out of the blue. You actually read a few of my comments on underneath some of your pictures, and you also said you remembered my name from Furbase.
So. Yeah, I remembered your name from Furbase, and I remembered some of your comments you made there and some of their posts, and I knew you were a cool guy, from the very beginning. So I had like a good a good approach towards you from the get go. It wasn't like just like diving blindly into deep water.
Exactly. And it was like, oh, he's a German artist. I can talk to him in German. So yeah that's fun.
And I remember like the moment that sort of like solidified it was like when we talked about where we're from, and my like the response I was kind of bracing for. I was like, okay, we get along well. We share a lot of interests. He's probably gonna be from the other end of the country.
Yeah, exactly. Because Knight was living in the northeast corner of Germany, and I was living in the northern part of Germany, but he didn't know that yet at that point, and was like, "Oh, great! With my luck, he's probably from the southwest or something, like 800 or 1,000 kilometers away."
Yeah, exactly. And then it turned out, no, we're just like only 2 hours away from
Not
each
even
other.
2 hours.
Oh, roughly.
Roughly 2 hours.
So, and I was like, okay, wow, we could actually visit each other. That's something I've never experienced before. Because like I do, like I mentioned before, I did visit a bunch of furry friends from other parts of Germany, but that was always something you could only do like a weekly trip or something. You couldn't just like.
That was like you had to go on 4 to 5 hour train rides for that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Exactly.
By the way, people in the chat are going crazy that it all started with a simple talk about foreskin.
Yes. And Nadia's very well put it, nothing makes young lovers together like foreskin.
Exactly.
Who needs grind around it? Let's just talk about foreskin. Yeah. Make it a new app where you just upload, you don't even upload photos, you just upload the data of your foreskin. So like like how the circumference.
It's actually a very nice idea. You could do like a foreskin app for people with foreskin, and you call it In the Hood.
Oh, thanks for coming out, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
But you also got to include people who are circumcised, so we don't want to discriminate there. Boo. You talk in German or English?
Oh god, I got a lot of boos for that.
That hurt. Of course, out of social media, we talk German because we're both German. But
sometimes we like to pepper our language with English words.
We throw
English phrases.
Yeah, we throw in a lot.
It gets thrown in a lot during the day. I actually have to watch out when I talk to our mothers or to my coworkers that I don't do that.
Yeah, I remember when you were still at your old office, and I was sending you like I think it was stickers on Telegram, like furry stickers and stuff like that, and funny reactions, and you laughed out loud, and one of your coworkers was like picking up. I was like, "Hey, what are you laughing about?"
Oh yeah, I just came up with somebody sent me something funny.
Yeah.
Good thing they didn't ask me to show it to them.
Yeah, that's always something that would like bother me. Is like, so what do you draw? You're an artist, right? What do you draw all day? It's like kind of like fantasy stuff, and nothing like conspicuous, just like normal things.
Well, you do have a safer work portfolio too, so that's okay.
Yeah, it's very bare bones, but it's there.
But it's funny. Yeah, that's how we started. And I think what happened next was that we kind of hopped into Skype, was it? Did we use Skype?
Yeah, it was Skype. No, we used Skype.
We used Skype to talk.
May it rest in eternal damnation and hell.
Yeah, but back then, 7 years ago, back then it was still okay to use it. And we played games together. We played Saints Row 4 together for many long nights.
It was legitimately like, I don't know, 2 a.m. where we just we chatted, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play Saints Row, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna join you. And I was like, wait, what? At 2 a.m. Are you crazy? I thought I was the only one who stayed up that long. Yeah.
And those talks were really good. We talked till the wee hours of the morning, and we just really hit it off.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
And then a few months later, I think it was in January 2016, you came to visit me for the first time.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out what Fizz Tigre just mentioned.
Oh, it's fun to think that Asyr was actually the first anthro tiger that I saw in a Google search, and my brain was just confused. Well, okay. Actually, I'm very happy that I came up in the Google search. I'm sorry that it was confusing for you, but I hope you got better.
Okay, I don't see any Asyr on.
Damn it, I got overridden.
I hope safe for work on, safe search on. Okay.
Interesting enough, other people like.
Oh wait, there's a picture of mine.
Oh, that's your pick. Well, now I'm a bit disappointed.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's some good examples.
There's some very good tigers there, though.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
Wait a moment. That one thing there. Scroll up, please. Furry speed paint. You know the picture for furry speed paint, that black anthro tiger that is actually picture is actually hanging in our bedroom.
Right, that is.
I bought that at the art show.
That's true.
At Eurofurence.
That's actually true. Yeah, holy crap. It's so cool.
So I have that picture framed on my wall.
Yeah, we own it. Don't steal it.
Yep. I paid money for that.
We own the picture and also the NFTs, so we really own it. And if we ever get divorced, I'm going to take the NFTs and then I can say I'm the true owner of that.
Indeed. Oh God, please never let it get so far.
No.
So yeah, that's how Knight and I got to know each other. Are there any other questions people might be interested in?
Sadly, I don't see.
Oh, by the way, Gladhorse also asked what you answered regarding the foreskin question.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, we're both uncircumcised, if that's what
No, I mean, why? Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's late at night here.
No.
About NSFW stuff. Yes, Knight and I are both uncircumcised in real life.
I think that's an anatomical detail that has nothing to do with sex. I just want to point that out.
All right. But what did you reply to me regarding your persona's circumcision status?
Circumcision status. That's a tough word. Well, the thing is, the reason for that was just wait. Why did that cut out?
I don't know.
Oh wait, are we live? No, the browser just crashed. Okay, I think the browser just crashed.
I don't think the live stream got interrupted. I think it was just the browser.
Okay, that's fine. It's all good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Nalias. Well, the whole circumcision thing is actually something just purely out of laziness. I drew Knight sometimes with a foreskin, and sometimes it was tough to draw it, from the right perspective, and it would look weird. And I was like, fuck it, let's just make him uncircumcised, make him circumcised in that picture. So it was just like really based off of if I wanted to draw that or not. And yeah, now it has changed where I draw him uncircumcised by default, and yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that.
Again, nothing against people who are circumcised or like that better.
Let's see.
Are you a furry? No, we're not furry.
Do you ever play Second Life? Yeah, quick answer, no.
No, sorry.
Never did. Are you a furry? Well, duh. Look at the chat. Sorry, don't mean to be mean here. But
no, I thought somebody wanted to be funny.
When you first meet, did you know how you look in real life? Actually, we did exchange pictures before we met for the first time. Knight was actually showing me a group picture of some other people he knows, and when I was about to guess who he was, I actually picked out Cirrus. I was like, "Oh, is that you?" And no, it's the one next to that.
Yeah, the ugly guy next to Cirrus. That's me. What parts of the fandom have changed for the better? And which
no. First is Shiro, because I think Shiro joined a little later, so wasn't there when I answered that question earlier. Did you choose a tiger first or some other animal for your persona? Yes, you joined in a little later, so I'm gonna answer that question again. My first persona was actually a wolf, though he didn't have a look. I never did a reference sheet for him. So the tiger is my second persona, but it has been stuck with me for the past 14 years now.
Yeah, I think you're
no intentions of changing.
You're a certified tiger at this point.
Okay, now Nalias' question. What parts of the fandom have changed for the better, and which parts have changed for the worse since you became furry?
I know that one.
Well, he's asking me.
I think he's asking both of us.
But then again, I don't really know, so you might as well reply to that first.
Well, I think what has changed for the better is...
sorry, you have to stretch first.
I stretched earlier, you didn't notice that.
Okay.
I stretched. I think that what has changed for the better is the visibility like the stigma has sort of faded away, and like a lot of things that people thought about furries have been debunked, and now like people still, so like regular people still may think it's weird, but like a lot more attention has been drawn to the positive sides of the fandom, which is really good, I think. And the negative side, however, I feel has come from a lot of young furries who only interact with social media, and like interact with other furries through that, who sort of have embraced this sort of behavior that really you advocates for witch hunts, and like um, you know, going after people that you find problematic, which oftentimes just like kind of goes overboard and targets people who really like should maybe reprimanded, but should not be like hunted down and like doxxed or like harassed beyond belief. And I feel that is a negative thing that is not just specific to furries, but it's definitely felt more in the community, because all of a sudden some new people decide that kink X or like interest X is now like morally objectionable.
I know, right? What is it with young furries who are like barely legal joining the fandom and being so prude?
Well, the barrel legal plus something that has to do with that, but yeah, it's just like, okay, well, if you're 17, you shouldn't look at furry porn anyway. So
Well, actually, I don't mind, because let's face it,
well,
looking at porn as a teenager is just a natural thing that helps you define your sexuality.
I don't want to get into hot water, but you know what I mean. The thing is, like, if you're underage legally, then
also, please, let's face it, everyone does that, whether you're gay or straight. I'm just saying, think of the standard joke about the heterosexual teenage guy who finds his father's porn magazine,
yeah,
Playboy, or who looks at naked tribe people in a National Geographic and gets his jollies from that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true.
It's just a natural thing of humans growing up.
Yeah, that's definitely right. Yeah. But the thing is, like, what I find very strange,
or the Otto catalog, looking at underwear models.
Yeah.
For Americans, that would be the Sears catalog.
The Sears catalog, yeah. But for instance, what people like, a lot of young furries go after feral as a kink, and they're like, that's bestiality, it's literally zoophilia, and it's you should go to jail for that. And they completely like disregard the fact that some of the communities that have originally formed or have become the furry fandom, like the Lion King community, and people who like Balto, and like characters from Jungle Book and stuff like that, and they're all feral characters, and it used to not be a problem whatsoever to like these characters and to draw them like sexually or anything else. And then all of a sudden these people come in and say, no, that's not right, you shouldn't like that, you shouldn't do that. And it feels so off-putting, because it has been around for longer than they have, but all of a sudden, like, they force their morals on each other, on everyone else, and that is just something that I wish people would just like be a little bit more level-headed about.
We had some other questions earlier that we talked over right now. Glairthos asked, "Who's the best, Senna or Schumacher?" Okay. Well, Glairthos, I'm gonna answer with the third option and say Lauda. Because let's face it, he got back into the car 6 weeks after his horrible fire accident, and he went on to become another world champion after that. So that's pretty impressive. That is something that neither Senna nor Schumacher, I'm talking like an American here, Schumacher, ever achieved. Though, to be fair, it was also not Senna's fault that he died, but still. So yeah, I'm going to go with Lauda when it comes comparing those drivers. And Sherneo asks, have you ever experienced prejudice from being a jury? Furry, though. I have to say no. I've never experienced any prejudice from the people I'm out to as a furry. So
Yeah, me neither. But we're also very selective about who we tell that
exactly. We have good friends who are very open about a lot of stuff, and they know we're furries, and they don't have a problem with that. And I don't tell my coworkers that I'm a furry because why would I?
Yeah, it's true. Like if any sort of interests overlap, then that topic might get brought up. But if not, then we don't feel like we need to shove that in people's faces. So yeah. Do you ever got a hater, Asyr? If that's directed at you, then I would probably
not to my knowledge. I don't think I have a hater. At least I hope not. Well, if I do have a hater, now would be a good time to come forward and tell me why.
There's something I have to tell you, Asyr. No, I'm kidding.
I always knew you were my biggest hater.
No, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, Wushel. Broken leg still. I think the broken leg still is not as bad as having half your face burned off. So
it's now devolving into Formula One talk. That's great.
Well, we don't want to dwell on that.
I'm kidding. Maybe you should do a podcast with Wushel about Formula One.
Right, and we'd invite Glairthorse for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't listen to it, but I'm sure that people would.
Senna is a hero in Brazil. Well, and for good reason. I'm not gonna take that away from you. And it was tragic that Senna was taken from his life way too soon. That is a shame, but I have my reasons for picking Lauda.
That's all right.
Are there any more furry related questions?
Yeah, if not, then if there's a non-furry related question, I'm gonna start banning people for that. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, non-furry related questions are good too. What would Lauda's fursona
No,
be?
relating to Asyr. Relating to Asyr, please. Don't you dare answer that. Oh fuck! Now you've done it, Wushel. Okay, I'm gonna ban Wushel now.
I'm gonna go with a squirrel because of the teeth.
Wow. My oh right, what would your sonas be?
If you couldn't pick tiger, that is important. If you couldn't pick tiger, what would your sonas be? I'm gonna go with gorilla.
Yeah, okay.
If you had asked me that 5 or 4 years ago, I would have gone with rhino, but now I'm gonna go with gorilla.
Good choice. I like
because gorillas are sexy as fuck.
Do you think there would be any sort of negative comments if you changed your fursona to gorilla? Do you think people would be like hesitant to like the new fursona because they felt it was more it was closer to being a human character?
I don't think so. I think monkeys, well, probably don't have the best standing in the furry fandom just because there are not many of them.
Yeah.
But let's face it, a gorilla is still far off from looking like a human, so you're still safe there. And for good reason, Alias. Don't worry, I don't have any intention of changing my fursona. That's what I created Zag for, to have a gorilla outlet.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But would people be confused? Probably. Would people come to accept it after a while? Maybe, except Nalias.
For me, it would definitely be a rabbit. I think like if the times I've drawn Rick as my secondary character was so much fun, and I think I would really embrace that. But yeah, like Asyr, I'm so glad I have like my outlet for that.
Exactly, and Rick is a very cute bunny.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely
and a big slut.
Definitely my second choice for a fursuit if I had the money for it. That would be fun.
So there you go. We'd be a gorilla and a bunny, which would be an interesting pair.
Definitely, yeah. And also an interesting apple.
I knew you were going to make that joke.
I'm sorry.
I saw it coming the moment I said it.
Oh, you just have to grow a pair.
Thank you. Thank you. But yes, imagine Asyr as a kangaroo. That would be cute.
Asyr as a kangaroo would be interesting.
That would be a chubby kangaroo.
Kangaroo's also a very good choice for a fursona. I just want to say that.
I know, but you already have Wyatt as a character for that.
No, I mean, I mean in general, just like kangaroos are a great choice for a fursona.
That's true. Kangaroos are very cute.
Sounds like something.
Also, there are also some very sexy kangaroos in real life. I'd like to remind everyone of that big buff kangaroo.
Yeah, buff kangaroo river. There's this one picture that I like. Yeah.
Oh my fucking goodness. Woo! Is it hot in here or is it hot?
What's your number one kink?
Empreg.
Not bellies?
Well, okay, I am a huge belly slut. I have a huge belly fetish, but you see how fast I replied with Empreg, so...
Yeah, okay, you didn't think about it, and so it's your first. All right, well, something I really wanted to point out there was that you helped me, draw Empreg, male pregnancy as a king, and like build up the courage to draw that. And
you're welcome for that.
I also really managed to get over, the negative comments that spawned from that. And now I think like most people have sort of accepted it. And I actually saw that, especially on E6-1, people actually, upvote the Empreg version of a picture of mine more than the regular version, which is very surprising. But it's a nice thing to see, I think. Like
it's because really people on E6-1 are kinky fuckers.
Well, the thing is, like you look for the tag, and then you see the picture, and then you upvote it. So over time, that's going to accumulate more, I guess, than just like general furry content. But yeah, so
I also like to half joke. I'm also serious about it because it's really noticeable. After Knight started talking to me for the first time, for real, you can notice that gradually the dicks and balls he drew on his characters became larger.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I just needed someone to really encourage me for that.
Exactly. Because, I'd like to pride myself with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, people, you're welcome. How was your first FurryCon and which one? My first FurryCon was Califer 2010 in Irvine, California. And it was kind of cool. I was only there for 2 days, but it was the first time I ever saw fursuiters.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, those guys are adorable.
Yeah.
And a lot of time I was just running around talking to people I didn't know back then because I wasn't that long in the fandom and I didn't know that many American first. So it was more like Vince actually, who accompanied me there, who took me there, actually got more talk to than I did.
Yeah.
I was just an innocent bystander. But what also amazed me at that con, which I remember fondly, was a Coyote fursuiter who was participating in the Fursuit talent show.
Cool.
Or was it just a general talent show? I don't know if it was Fursuit or just a general talent show. And he had the microphone in his head.
Okay.
Inside his fursuit head. And he was sitting there on the stage with a guitar. And he played the guitar in fursuit.
Wow.
And he sang the song Fireflies.
Wow.
And that was just awesome because I was like, wow, he's wearing the fursuit and he can play the guitar. And then I'm guessing he had probably special fursuit gloves for that, which I didn't know back then.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. Also, there was another show which was hosted by a tiger fursuiter who had a movable mouth.
Oh, wow.
And
cool.
he, as opposed to me, he could actually talk and move his mouth, move his mouth very fluently. And that was an awesome effect. I really admired that.
I think we could probably get that to work with ours as well if we just had something like to stabilize the chin. I
really have to push down my chin to open my fursuit head mouth. So that makes it hard to talk.
Wix actually asked you what's appealing to you about Empreg. If you want to answer that.
That's hard to pinpoint. It's like, why do you find that fetish or that fetish appealing? It's just something we have inside you. Of course, what's appealing about mpreg is also what's appealing about inflation in general. It's like this blown up belly, which makes it even harder if it's a skinny guy with this protruding belly. That kind of has a fascination that just tickles my fancy. So.
And I'm sad to announce that California ceased to exist.
When did they cease to exist?
They promised to return in 2019 with some of the concept offering refunds, but also asking that year's already registered and attendees for permission to use their refund for finance next year's event.
Okay, so California got shut down after 2018.
Yeah.
That's sad. Can you just look up 2010, how many attendees it had? It's not number 10, it has to be before that.
Yeah.
California 6, June 4th to 6th, 2010. Attendance was 851. That's so small compared to MFF or EF.
No. But still very sizable.
Yeah, there were a lot of people running around there.
I mean, still very, very respectable, considering that it was the 6th iteration.
Exactly.
There were only 383 in the first one.
Yeah.
It's sad that it kind of expect a 50th iteration due to a loss of venue and the inability to secure a new one when the hosting venue, Fairfax to Sheraton, canceled their contract due to threats and protests that resulted in a major increase in security costs.
Oof.
I guess that was because of Rainforest, or maybe not.
I don't know. When was Rainforest?
2018, 2016?
Oh, 2018. That would have been the same time, so...
2016.
2016 was... So wait, 2016 was the one
canceled,
that got canceled. 2015. So 2015 was the infamous one.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's a shame, but yeah, I'm still remembering Califer as the first furry convention I ever attended. And in 2011 was the first time I went to MFF, which was much bigger than Califer, of course. And from that time on, I was at MFF a few times, and then later on, Night dragged me to EF. So,
okay.
What?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was the threats and pros mentioned were part of a campaign organized by Alt Furry Discord.
Oof! Alt Furry.
That sucks that they dragged down Califer with that.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Please, I'm sorry. Yeah, so sorry, what were you?
Yeah, love for big bellies. Woo! Do you have a mersuit? No, I would love to, but so far it hasn't happened yet.
No, that's true.
Also, the way Knight is sweating in his full suit, it's kind of like, wait, I'm already so hot when I just walk around. I'm supposed to have sex in that? How do people survive that?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, we did talk to a friend who. I gotta adjust the pec. I just realized.
Ooh, but that turned out real nice.
Thank you.
The belly's a bit small.
Yeah, because it's not fully visible.
I know.
But
don't worry about it.
I talked to a friend who does own a mersuit, and because I was curious about that myself, and he said, well, there's a reason why so many people shoot videos of themselves, having sex in a mersuit, because it's mostly just for show, because like you don't really see, feel much, you can really not move the way you would move if you didn't wear one, and it gets incredibly hot.
Well, I would still hope you feel something in that area where it counts.
Yeah, true, but I just realized I missed something. The ears.
Oh, right. The white spot on the ears is missing.
But yeah, so something that would definitely interest me, but I'm not in a rush to,
experience that. Like, same for me. Open to mersuiting, but it hasn't happened yet.
All right, so
this is a very nice picture. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Tiger.
You're welcome, and thank you for all the insights and wonderful answers you're giving me.
You're welcome. I think you even learned something new about me as well tonight.
I absolutely did, yeah. Thank you, Nalias. I would say this was definitely a successful first iteration of this podcast experiment. Sorry, not experience. It was also a nice experience.
I agree. And I'm looking forward to find out what you're going to talk about with your future guests.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely.
I already know some of the ideas you have. I'm not going to spoil anything right now and tell what ideas for guests you have, but I'm looking forward to it.
I basically bugged everyone I know if they wanted to be a guest on the podcast at some point, and and so
no spoilers.
Yeah, but I just think it would be a cool idea to give, quote unquote, regular furries a platform to, talk about stuff and just like express themselves without having, this limitation of no, you have to be a content creator, you have to be an artist or something like that. Because I think that there really is a gold mine there of people who sharing their experiences, and every furry has like a different story to tell about what their role is in the fandom, how they came to be part of the fandom, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna invite more people, and I don't know who I'm going to invite next time, but I have a lot of ideas.
The ideas you have, and you just have to find out who's available next.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely will see some very interesting people, I think.
Are there any urgent questions left that people didn't get a chance to ask yet? Now would be the time.
Now would be the time.
Because we're only going to log off if there aren't any more questions.
Also,
oh god, now I said it, probably people ask, what's 1 + 4? Just to ask a question.
Thank you, Shameless Man 89 for the 10 bits. I completely missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, right. But yes, you're gonna send me that file.
Of course.
I want to upload that on FA.
You can, yeah, sure. I hope nobody's gonna ask why the arms.
Where are his arms? Yeah. Oh my god, what happened to you?
Thank you very much, Bushel, for the 69
bits.
Any good beer recommendations? We're not very much of beer drinkers. So.
Alsterwasser.
Yeah.
Google it.
It's not don't compare. Not comparable with Pisswasser. That's the German beer in the GTA series. Oh, Shani, you can make a good guess for who I'd invite.
Well, Shani, you can make a guess, and then we will neither confirm nor deny it.
Yeah. I'm curious, though, what your guess would be.
Oh, yeah, amputee Asyr. I don't know how to take that.
No, he's not amputated. It's just...
No.
Uncle Kage. Oh god!
Wow, if you could score him, that would be awesome.
That would be amazing. I would really love to. I would really love to ask him one question. No, I'm not gonna say that. Have you been to Oktoberfest? I've been to Oktoberfest.
Knight has been there. I have never been to Oktoberfest. If you talk about the real and only one that is in Munich. Not all those fake copy ones.
Tyrox or Lakota may have some
interesting guesses.
Interesting guesses, absolutely.
Can you poke us your belly?
Boop.
Boop. You just did.
But yeah, Oktoberfest, well, I think it was 18, 19 at that time. It was nice. I'm not much for beer, so we just we drank in the whole atmosphere instead. We did share one mass. Sorry, it's a short A.
Mass.
No, it's mass.
Yeah, but they say mass.
Yeah, but it's mass. For
whatever reason.
One big stein of beer, which is a literal liter.
But if you spell it like that, you have to say mass.
Well, they say mass.
No, they don't.
They do.
Who says that?
People from Bavaria.
I've never heard someone say mass before.
But because
I heard mass.
Well, who of us has been to the Oktoberfest, Tommy? All right. But yeah, if you can drink that without getting drunk, I applaud you. I'm not the one for that. No. Anyway, let's go back to a nice Tiger Daddy here.
And some non-beer related stuff.
Yeah. But it seems there's no more questions left.
I think people's curiosity is very much sated for now.
Yeah, I think so too. And we definitely broke the whole 1 hour time mark by a lot.
Which is good, because I think if we would have limited us to an hour exactly, it wouldn't have been that much fun.
Well, next, if you want to ask the new guests for future episodes about their foreskin, it's your right to do, and I will relate that question to them as well.
Foreskin and kinks,
yeah,
which can be also very fun. It's too bad you can draw that on Twitch.
Yeah,
at least we can talk about it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it has to stay safe for work, because I also want to upload it to YouTube, and it wouldn't be fun to have like to bleep and blur all.
Wait, but that means we would already have to bleep a lot of stuff right now.
No, I was just kidding. When talking about it's not a problem.
Okay.
All right.
As we don't show anything.
I think that's pretty much it for now.
If you want to see stuff, you'd probably have to check out my pub account on Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. It's linked on your regular Twitter.
It's linked on my regular Twitter, right?
Okay. We've definitely had a lot of fun with this. I definitely had.
I had fun too.
I hope you did too. That's great.
And it's nice that it wasn't all about you for a change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for posting the link again, Nadias.
And next time we might actually stream Brock again, I hope.
I'm looking forward to it, because I'm very curious where Brock's adventure will take us next.
Me too. And when I have news about who to bring on for the next podcast, I will definitely share that, and then we'll see when we can set up a new episode. I don't plan to do this, on any sort of like weekly thing or something, because I think that would be too stressful. I only want to do it when I really, have someone, I can share stuff with, and
you both find the time.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So for now, I want to say thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you for participating and for asking questions.
And I hope you had fun, and we will see each other on the next episode, or possibly in another live stream.
Good night and good luck.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. Bye.